I wasn't really prepared for how much my life was going to change when I decided that I was no longer going to go back to my old life and my old job. I was a bit of a bougie bitch. I had a really well-paying job. I traveled to different countries. I experienced fine dining. I shopped and purchased expensive material things. I had beautiful, memorable experiences that I will never forget. I lived a pretty luxurious lifestyle. So when I decided that I was going to go in search of my purpose, I wasn't fully prepared for how much I was going to have to give up. I wouldn't be able to hop on a flight and go with my friends to Miami any random weekend. I wouldn't be able to attend every brunch and dinner outing. I would shop less, I would consume less, I would have to budget and manage my money, and I would have to keep constantly reminding myself that this is just short-time pain, long-time gain. Hey guys, welcome back to Neely by Nature. My name is Neely. Today's video is a very vulnerable one. I am going to be sharing my greatest fear. I find that sharing my fears publicly makes me feel liberated and unburdened by them. My greatest fear currently is a question that has been lingering in my mind ever since I've come home from Costa Rica a few weeks ago. It's a question that's been really weighing on me, and it's, what if I fail and I lose everything? It has been about 2 years since I stopped working. I lost my job back in April 2020 due to the pandemic. And what happened after I lost my job was something that really surprised me. I was kind of sprung into a spiritual awakening. And this awakening was like no other awakening I've ever experienced. This was an awakening of my truth and the truth of who I am. It took me about a year to realize that my life was never going to be the same, and there was no going back. Honestly, even when I tried to go back to my old life, there was constant divine intervention. And it's been 2 years since I stopped working, and I'm really beginning to feel the pressure of this. My greatest fear revolves around the greatest risk I've ever took, which is me. When I realized that there was no way for me to go back to my old life and that chapter had ended, I knew I had to figure out two things. One, what was I going to do with my life? And two, how was I going to make money? I knew that I wanted to start a YouTube channel so I could connect with people virtually. I wanted to share my journey. I wanted to share my travels and document it. I wanted to use my creativity. I wanted to help people. I wanted to create something that was lasting and resourceful to humanity. I wanted to tell a story. I wanted to love what I do, and I wanted that to be my source of income. And this is definitely not my source of income. It's been a year since I began my channel, and it's by no means a large channel, but it has reached people who felt inspired or found my content relatable. So much so that they reached out to me to thank me or let me know that, you know, my content has helped them. And it doesn't matter if that was one person or 1,000 people, the effect is still the same. And I have so much gratitude for that. I've also been successful in documenting my mental health journey and my travels. I've been able to exercise my creativity, and I truly do love what I do, which is creating videos and connecting with people and editing and just finding new topics that I find interesting and creating a discussion around it. However, although I feel really grateful for these small achievements, this is not paying my bills. And for this, I feel so stressed sometimes. I'm using all my savings to travel, vlog, and invest in myself. And I'm watching my bank account decrease every day because I'm not making money. I'm just spending my money and investing my money. On top of that, I invested money in the stock market, and I've watched that money get cut in half because the stock market is just not doing well right now. I still have bills to pay, and the price of everything has gone up substantially. And the pressure of all of this is beginning to really weigh on me. What if I fail and I lose my money and all of this was for nothing? See, the thing is, people rarely discuss their finances when they're going through it. Most people discuss their struggles surrounding finances after they've made it. It's because we feel ashamed, because we've been taught that if you don't have money, then you are not successful. And that's something to be ashamed of. And every now and then I have these moments where I really beat myself up. But then there's something really amazing that happens. I get over it and I keep going. Every time I try to go back to my old life and get that old job back, it never worked out. And that's because the universe was rerouting me. I am more than qualified in my field. And I'm realizing that I really have to trust the path that I'm on. And sometimes it's really challenging. Money is attached to how we feel about ourselves. But your net worth is not your self-worth. And that's something that I have to constantly remind myself. I wasn't really prepared for how much my life was going to change when I decided that I was no longer going to go back to my old life and my old job. I was a bit of a bougie bitch. I had a really well-paying job. I traveled to different countries. I experienced fine dining. I shopped and purchased expensive material things. I had beautiful, memorable experiences that I will never forget. I lived a pretty luxurious lifestyle. So when I decided that I was going to go in search of my purpose, I wasn't fully prepared for how much I was going to have to give up. I wouldn't be able to hop on a flight and go with my friends to Miami any random weekend. I wouldn't be able to attend every brunch and dinner outing. I would shop less. I would consume less. I would have to budget and manage my money. And I would have to keep constantly reminding myself that this is just short-time pain, long-time gain. These major changes to my lifestyle opened up so much free time for me. I have so much more peace and quiet now. I have so much time to spend with my family and with myself. I remember when I used to work as an executive assistant to CEOs, whenever they would have any time off, the first thing that they would do is they would always book a place that was peaceful and away from people and somewhere that they had no access to Wi-Fi. And honestly, it didn't matter where they were. They just wanted to be somewhere where it was peaceful and quiet. And so I look at this time that I have to myself as a privilege and a luxury, and I feel really grateful for it. So what if I fail and I lose everything? Well, then I have the opportunity to start over. The worst thing that I can do, or anyone who is in a similar situation can do, is begin to worry about what people think, so much so that it holds you back from actually fulfilling your mission. The money I invested in myself, the money I invested in my future, the money I invested in the stock market, these are investments that are long-term. Life isn't a social media platform where you get this instant gratification. Patience is really required in the game of life. My worst case scenario is that I fail, I lose money, and then I have to get a 9-to-5 job. Sure, it'll suck, but I know that I will recover. But my best case scenario is that everything actually works out. I end up creating something that is inspiring and valuable to the world, and that I actually do become financially abundant beyond my aspirations. My best case scenario is enough to keep me going and trusting the process. Failing is difficult because we internalize it and we see it as a reflection of our own self-worth. Somehow we aren't enough because no matter how much hard work we put into this thing, nothing came of it. So this must mean that something is wrong with us. We were taught that hard work guarantees success, but that's not the truth. There are no guarantees in life, but the closest thing you can get to a guarantee to your success is your confidence in your self-worth. At this juncture in my life, I do not give a fuck about what people think of me. I care about what I think of me. You have to be a little crazy to do something like this, but I have so much self-belief in myself. And even though I have all this belief in myself, I still have moments where my ego panics. And in those moments of panic, I sit down and I begin to create because I cannot afford to panic and spiral. I literally cannot afford it. This is my journey in life right now. And right now, I am in the thick of it. I hope that by sharing my fears, it provides you some sort of value that you can apply to your life. And it gives you some level of strength to keep going no matter what. Taking a risk on yourself is scary. Trying something new is scary, and investing money on yourself is even scarier because we always have the risk of losing it. And that's pretty much how I feel right now. But I feel like right now I have no option but to keep going because there's no time to be wasted on just spiraling. It's so exhausting mentally to spiral, to feel bad about yourself. Like, I don't have the time. I have only time to put in work in myself. And that's all that I can afford to do right now. And if I fail, I have the opportunity to start over or try again. Your perception is what's creating your reality. Sometimes the universe really tests us, and they put us through shit to see if we really want it. When you're at rock bottom, that's not the time to give up. It can feel that way, but right now, all I can focus on is just to keep going. I would love to know your thoughts on this video. Comment below, thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys at my next video. Bye.